What's up, Coach? Long
What's
time
up,
coming,
coach?
man.
Yes, sir. How you living?
Doing well, man. DFW Source of Sports in the building. What's your point? We're back. Um, Gotta, we back, Coach. We back. That's all I can say. Had a been away for a minute, but excited to be back. Excited that grassroots basketball has started, so that's exciting. Um, it went, it went down this past weekend in Duncanville, Texas. It went down this weekend. We had a real good weekend at the Shining Moment event. For the one Shining Moment event, it was a different kind of confusion because apparently I didn't know until later on that I had the same name as another tournament organization. But I can tell you this: next year that won't happen again because I already have the perfect name for this next coming weekend. There's two names. There's two names I have in the pot, but I guarantee you that shining moment would never ever be used again for Source of Sports right now. So just stay tuned for that, man.
Coach, you've always got some great names for your different events that really reflect what's going on around them. So I can't wait to hear what the new one's going to be, what the new next year's going to be.
Man. But coach, hey, you was missing in action on Saturday due to a family deal, and we was glad to have you back in the building on Sunday, man. So you got to see a lot of good basketball on Sunday. A team, man, for you. I mean, what was one of the teams that? First of all, before you even do that, man, I want to congratulate all the winners. First of all, let me congratulate all the winners from top to bottom for first place. I know Fair. I know they walked away in the freshman division. They got first place. Um, I know in the high school varsity division, the high shots from Houston,
Yeah,
uh, they end up getting first place.
that was a
Believe
really
me.
great championship game as well. I mean, I know it
Yeah,
was a
we're
good
gonna talk about that in
weekend.
a minute. Yeah,
I heard
we're gonna
it was
talk
a good
about that in a
one.
minute.
That
We're
was a
gonna talk
good
about
one.
that point in a minute. Big time, I believe Big Time Sports. They end up big time. They went 1-1 on Saturday.
Okay.
The girls bounced back and they got first place on Sunday as well. Program is led by Coach Mike. Man, he does a real good job. I believe his sixth grade boys came up top. If I'm missing anything, y'all please forgive me, man. I was walking around all day, but hey, I mean, shout out to all the Bulls Elite. Bulls Elite came out on top in that fourth grade division, boys. So it was a lot of good basketball, Coach. For you though, I think let's go and get ready to talk about it. Who was one of your favorite players from this past weekend?
And number 00 on Bulls Elite, Cameron Lee. Um, I believe he was fourth and fifth grade, so I believe he may have been a fifth grader. But he had a little height on some of the other players. But sometimes when kids grow a little sooner than their classmates, it can lead to them being a little awkward, a little clumsy. So I was really interested to see what he was going to bring to the table on Sunday. And man, he really surprised me for being that young. Having that kind of height on him. He was quite nimble. I mean, he had several blocks, of just having a nose for the ball, and then offensively, he put the ball in the hoop, coach.
There's
I
the
mean,
big fella right there, Coach. You see the big fella right
that's
there?
it. Yeah, and a lot of times kids will get an opportunity around the basket, but not necessarily at that age be able to consistently put it in. And I think he had 8 or 10 points, but he had about 4 or 5 blocks. And what I got to see him in the semifinal game. And again, just a well-rounded player for that age, very coachable. When his coach had something on him or something for him, he never back talk. You just see the nod, the yes coach, and just a really good young player to keep an eye on as he grows and goes with Bulls
And they
Elite.
was coached by a female, right?
Yeah, and I apologize. I didn't get the coach's name. We chatted a little
Yeah,
bit,
I
but she
forgot
did
her
a
name
really
too.
good job of having her team prepared to play. They played a tough game, against the Storm,
The
and
Storm. Yeah.
they really came out and just handled business from beginning to end. The Storm fought hard, had some really good plays, some nice drives, and a few good runs. But Bulls Elite was they were solid from beginning to end, and led by Cameron Lee.
It's always good. I like seeing because let's just call it what it is, man. Sometimes females as leaders, they're more they have the heart in the male. So
Yeah.
it's always refreshing to see males responding to a female leadership. And so that kid, I saw a little bit of him. And the times I did see him, he did go to work inside and out. So Bulls Elite, that's another team, you will definitely have to kind of watch out, in the future. Going to the next one, man. The one I've been, I can't wait to talk about this kid, man. From Texas Prime, man, the 8th grader, the big fella. Coach.
Joshua Lowe was a beast, Coach.
Coach, there's always a player that there's always that one player, man, that where you can just take 1 second, a couple of seconds to look at him or her, and you could be like, that kid has it.
Coach, I'm telling you, with him, they had TP Elite had
Texas Prime.
Texas Prime had 3 possessions, and he got the ball off of a rebound on the 4th possession. And as soon as he touched the ball, I was like, "Oh shit! Oh goodness! This was a little different." Okay, let me watch him. And Coach, when he didn't try and hog the ball. He was very good distributor. Got the ball too. He wasn't the primary point guard, but he could handle the ball when needed on fast breaks. He didn't slow down, and he went to work.
Hey Josh, if you watch it, you making the coach dropping the S bomb on this show, man. That's how. But no, man, that's how much of an impact that kid made on Sunday, man. Because you gotta remember, and they led by Coach Avery, and the program is actually led by Coach Alex. And Coach Alex probably like Coach Alex third or 4th tournament that he has been playing with us. And no disrespect to the other teams that he had. It's just, the teams where, I caught him and I caught him. When Josh stepped on floor, I was like, Alex, where did you get this kid from?
That's right.
How did you find him? Things like that. Because a kid like that, like Josh was playing, and I'm gonna drop his interview later on this week. I had a chance to go one-on-one with him. And his interview will drop later on this week. And when you watch his interview, man, this kid has big dreams, big goals. I mean, I'm gonna leave it like this. It ain't got nothing to do with sports. I'm gonna put it like that. Very mature for his age, man. Talks very well. But we know who the big programs are, right? And that's a kid, man, that is a quote unquote big program, but he's also a kid that would make a program a big program, because you're gonna want to play with them. You're gonna want them on your main floor in your events. The kid is springy. He can get to the rim. He can handle the ball. He can score. He can D up. He check all the boxes as a 8th grader. He's a 2026. A very unique situation. The reason why we didn't see him on Saturday. And the reason why we didn't see him on Saturday, you will find out on Friday exactly the reason why we did not see him on Saturday. But I cannot tell. He was probably, Coach, out of all the divisions. I'm talking about out of all the divisions, out of all the players, Coach, he was the best player in the whole entire event. Just from a standpoint of because the hot shots actually really. I mean, if you have to go and pick one, the hot shots and Texas Switch led by D-Rob, but the hot shots really had a real nice 6'5" kid. I'm gonna talk about him later. Mm-hmm. But overall, just be like, man, I want that kid right there. Josh was he was the best player in the whole entire event.
Yeah, he definitely had that, that thing of the player you want kind of to build your program, or at least your group around, right? So if I've got an 8th grade team and I've got a kid like that, like you said, Coach, you're going to be able to get additional players, especially as you move into that high school realm, when they know he's playing, because he was a very well-rounded player, but a very skilled player, very talented. He used his weight and like you said, his leaping ability very well, and just a difference maker. You could tell he was different from both his team and the opposition when he got the ball in his hand.
Yeah, yeah. Another young fellow that was in the gym this week that I definitely want to kind of talk about and give him a shout out is this young sixth grader right here, DJ Higgins. Plays for Texas Storm. They was in the championship. They didn't pull it out. Big time sports. Coach Mike team, his sixth grade boys walked away with the championship, and he had some pieces too. But this kid stuck out to me because, BJ man is a if you watch him, man, he can handle the ball. He can see the floor. He plays hard 24/7. The championship was a big gap between the scores as far as the score. And usually, man, kids, when you look at the scoreboard and you down by a certain number mentally, I mean, it is what it is. I've been coaching and doing this thing for a long time. You instantly shut down. Yep. And that kid that kid really played and believed like he can bring his team back, and he never stopped playing, has a real good motor. But kind of similar like Josh, you know what I'm saying? Like if he stays with Texas Storm, led by Coach Mike, that team too, Texas Storm will pick up some additional pieces to go along. Because Texas Storm, that's another team, they play, this is about like third, fourth tournament with us. And every time they walk in the gym, Coach Mike that team has always improved, sporadically every single week. And so Texas Storm is going to be another, North Texas Storm is going to be another program that you definitely want to watch out for. But that kid, DJ Higgins, man, he plays hard and he plays tough.
And I think that's what coaches are really looking for at this point in the season. We're at the beginning, few teams, this is their first tournament. And like you said, for a few, maybe it's their second or third. Most teams haven't played more than 3 tournaments at this point in the season. And you really want to see who's in it from the beginning, who's willing to work right now. And like you said, looking for improvement from week to week. As I'm sure Coach Mike has been pleased with his team's improvements. Those W's will come, but as many coaches who've been in this, this time is about getting better from week to week and from game to game. So if you can shore up some of the little things from game to game and be better than you were when you walked into a tournament, and then from week to week, perform better each week in these tournaments, at the end of the season, you're going to have some kids, again, who are really ready to go, and especially when you get these younger ones who are willing and ready to work. Yeah.
And I have to get a shout out to the Cougars Elite. Cougars Elite also had a good showing between all 3 of their teams. Coach, they had a freshman on his team. I did not get his name, man, but 6'8". I mean, just a young fella, man. And he's a promising future, man. I know he's a 2025 that goes to Red Oak. That 2025 class is going to be very good, man, because it's just a lot of talent in the class throughout the state. But, he's a very long kid.
Coach height. And a wise coach once told me you can't coach height.
Yeah, you can't. But he's he's gonna be good though. He's gonna be good. Keep putting in the work over the time. He's gonna be very good, Coach. I have to give a shout out, man, to the high school winners, man. Obviously it was the high school division for the girls side, man. One thing I appreciate about the teams that was in there is that they didn't get too caught up to with who's all playing, how many this, how many that. Everybody played, but the answer girls on both sides, middle school and high school, along with the Cougars Elite girls. The answer girls, man, they have, the high school girls go have, they got some pieces on their team. One in particular who keeps everything going is a young lady named Camille. She's a dog. Her motor don't never stop. She guards the ball. She runs the floor. It's like you ask her when is she going. Camille, you tired. Then they got Sophia. Man, Sophia is a knockdown shooter, a junior. 2023 coaches, I'm telling you right now, 2023. If you need a knockdown shooter, you need to go to Sam Houston High School in Arlington, Texas, and go get that young lady. She can shoot the skin off the ball, Coach. Their point guard Charity. They got a lot of pieces on their team, man. They really do. Led by Coach David. So that's another good high school team. You got to keep out. Yeah, you got to watch out for, along with that middle school group. The middle school group
came out and competed, and like you mentioned, when you're either down a lot or when you're playing sometimes older competition, it can be easy for younger players to let their kind of emotions take over. That middle school group fought hard. They played well. They got them a win, across the weekend. And I mean, a very promising group of young ladies who just went out there and I mean, when you talk about not caring who's on the other side of you, right? And
Mhm.
just playing hard. Those young ladies really went out and represented not only themselves, but their team, their parents, and programs. I mean, wherever they end up when they move from middle school to high school, they are going to make immediate impacts. So many of those young ladies, are going to be ready after this summer that they've got coming up and playing against high school competitions at times. They're really going to be ready to make that step as freshmen. A lot of freshmen aren't really ready to make that step, into possible JV or varsity roles. And so I think this group of the Answer middle school girls, they'll have a lot of them who step right into JV and possibly even a few varsity players.
Because they got they three-headed monster, man. I call them the Three Musketeers, led by Briley, number 2, Briley Dawson, Savannah Hoskins, number 5, and then they have one man that can do everything in the middle, outside, down low, however you want it. She gonna give it to you. Number 22, Sandy. Sandy and Sophia are sisters.
Yeah.
They are sisters. I think their last name is Cortez. I hope I didn't mess it up.
No,
But
that's right.
that's it. Yeah, the Cortez sisters, man. And I mean, between Sandy, Briley, and Savannah, them three, you got to keep out. You got to keep an eye on them, man. They will be back in action in DeSoto this weekend at another tournament. Excited for those young group of girls. But like I said, man, big time. That was, like I said, I already talked about them. Just want to give them another shout out. Appreciate them for coming out and competing. Big time sports. Coach Mike. I did an interview with him also, as well. I got to catch up with him. Big time sports, man. He has an AAU team and he also have a prep school team. A lot of people don't know that he gets a lot of kids over from around the area, country, whatever, and he also has a prep school team. You'll learn about that in the interview. He a very resourceful guy. Played overseas from the area. Coach, you remember him, man. But I remember him like, and this is what I mean with Texas Prime. For Texas Prime programs like Texas Prime and Kruger's Elite. Mike started with us years ago with one team.
Yep.
Now this dude had about 7 to 8 different teams, both boys and girls. He has his own prep school now.
Yep.
He throws events as well. And he's also partnered with some of our good friends like with Texas Impact on the UA circuit. So you never know who's watching and things like that. And that's the main important thing, man. But I mean, I have fun, man, this weekend. We have the DJ. Cause you missed the DJ on Saturday, man. But the DJ had that thing rocking and popping on Saturday, man. So I appreciate, our DJ coming out. It was just a good time, Coach. It was a good time.
And I know I got there on Sunday, but again, heard nothing but positive reviews. Coaches, teams had. I mean, there were some really good games played both Saturday and Sunday. A lot of competition. Good rivalries in the making. But again, in a good way. These young people come out and the coaches have them ready to play hard. And even teams who were down a bit, you find a way and you see these comebacks. You just want these kids to learn. And you've provided, DFW Source of Sports has provided a great platform for these teams to come together. And I think people really look forward to participating in your events.
Yeah, because I'm glad. So real quick before we land this plane, about 15 minutes. Let's talk about some of the tense games, the best games that we saw, that we've seen. And for me, I caught the end of it, but you was there the whole entire game. Talk about that. Talk about that Hot Shots game versus Texas Swish.
Championship in the varsity bracket, Texas Swish versus Hot Shots. Texas Swish had beat them on Saturday. and you know, Hot Shots were looking for revenge. They knew they had the talent. They knew they had the team. And I mean, it went back and forth, Coach. I think they pulled away, you know, in the fourth, well, in the end of the second half. Hot Shots just started they turned up that intensity, and you know, they really made Texas Swish pay for a few turnovers. You know, there were some calls that you know, one Swish didn't care for, or that they, you know, weren't necessarily getting. But I mean, the boys played hard here and there. You know, this call, that call. It really came down to the Hot Shots really converting on some things, and Texas Swish. Like I said, they played hard. I thought they were coming back in it. The coach believed they were, you know, coming back. The players believed it, and the ball just didn't bounce their way. But, you know, hats off to the Hot Shots. They came up from Houston, and they really put on a good performance this weekend. I did hear in briefly talking with the Swish coach, that was their first tournament. You know, this was their first tournament, so not sure what the Hot Shots, how much they've had before this game. I didn't get to talk to them afterwards, but
so let me give you a brief history real quick about the Hot Shots. And as you can see, here's their logo real quick. Welcome to Fort Vegas. They were led this program, and I'm gonna pull up some other stuff real quick if I can get my computer to kind of get going. This program is actually led and is founded by a known rap artist. He goes by the name of Stunner for Vegas, and I'm going to pull the picture up that I have here in a minute once I get it going. So you gotta bear with me and please forgive me.
And,
but he was
Vegas was very active on the bench. He encouraged his boys, and I mean, again, had them ready. They were ready to play. Their coach, was ready. He had his boys ready to play. They played.
So here's the thing. I mean, here's the thing. Early in the morning, because again, I don't keep up with a lot of music in today's, like far as the new coming artists. I guess he has been around for now for some type of minute. Matter of fact, he's actually with a well-known artist named DaBaby.
Yeah,
he's with, I think, from what I heard and whatever, they're real good friends. But yeah, like you said, Coach, he's real active. He was taking pictures with the kids on Saturday. There was a young lady who the DJ actually had Snapchatted saying that, hey, Stunner for Vegas was in the building.
Yep.
And there was a young lady who saw the snap, and she was driving. Wherever she was going, Coach, she was driving. And she made a U-turn, and unfortunately, they had just left to go check into their Airbnb or wherever they was going.
Mm-hmm.
And so she missed him. But so she came back the next day and handed her his book and whatever the case may be. But yeah, their head coach, they roll deep, man. They roll deep. His head coach was a very good coach, man. The kids, they had a 6'5" kid. I did not get his name. They had a 6'5" kid. He had like some red in his hair, I think, or whatever, like a little fro. Talking to that kid, I forget his name, but talking to that kid, he's actually a highly recruited football player. And I think he's also getting recruited also for basketball. But I know when he was talking, me and him was talking, and Coach, you look at him, 6'5", 6'6", LSU, just for football, LSU, A&M. I believe he said Texas Tech. So different school. He's a Power 5 recruit for football. Very active on basketball too. It would not surprise me that if he goes, when he goes to college, it would not surprise me that he would do 2 sports. But I like what that I like that program, man. They're active, man. I know some people can take it like, who is this guy? Who is this program? Because he's gonna talk. But Coach, you know me, I like when teams can talk, but kind of keep it in a way, man. And sometimes things get out of hand. But when you cool off, unfortunately, it was at the end of the game. It was the last game of the day. So unfortunately, I guarantee you that if those coaches probably would have seen each other again after they had time to cool off, they would have dapped each other up, congratulate each other, and they would have been like that. Sometimes it's a friendly competition. You know what I'm saying? So because I'm gonna show you something real quick, Coach. I like exactly what they do, far as the exposure that they provide for these kids. And before I show you this, I remember one time, hey, he holds those kids to a high standard. One thing, see, here's the thing about me. I'm gonna report the good and the bad.
Right.
Okay. I'm not gonna just report one thing and I report the other. But one thing I did see him do though, he held his boys to a higher standard. I think one of the kids at one point during one of those games was talking back or whatever. He said, "Hey man, get out my uniform and go. We're not gonna have that." You know what I'm saying? And then I guess later on, him and the kid, they got everything settled, and that kid came back the next day and played in the next game. So it's not like he don't have his boys disciplined,
accountable. That's right.
But young coach, young staff, whatever. But here's the one thing that they do well as far as with their program.
I won't even talk free. They just came in there and wanted to beat Stunner for Vegas basketball team. That's all. First time I creep drop the window, let that chop swing it. Sound like a beat. Spot pop and drop. We make bleed.
Little video. They got episodes, man. Promote the kids. You go look at his Instagram, man, and go look at that team's Instagram, man. They promote their kids, whatever. But D-Rob, Texas Switch been around, man. D-Rob, D-Rob is built different. That's how that game got getting out of hand.
And again, neither one of those teams, neither one of those coaches. I mean, in the heat of the game, nobody's backing down. You know what I mean? And so those that adrenaline and all that is raw right at the end of the game. It was a great game. They kept between in between the whistles and everything, and there at the very end, two guys just wanted to tell each other I think they were just telling each other how much they appreciated the other one's game, Coach.
Hey, man, you know what? They're gonna run across and get each other at some point because that team right there, they're gonna play in good high events. And D-Rob, Texas Switch always does a heck of a job. Shout out to Coach Said with that freshman group, but D-Rob, man, they're gonna see each other again probably at some point, and it's gonna be a good rivalry.
And I'm sure they both look forward to playing each other again. Like they would welcome that, you know what I mean? Because they want, hey, you want a piece of this? Come get it. And again, from the basketball standpoint, it's just gonna make both of those groups of young men play hard and really get the most out of all of their game and just push the other team to see who's really gonna, because that team, those two teams, is going to come down to who's better that day. Like I said, Texas Switch won on Saturday. The Hot Shots won on Sunday.
Hot Shots only lost one game, Coach, and guess what game it was? They lost at 9:00 in the morning or 9:45. So you know how them type of games go. After you get loose and stretch out and all that,
that's right.
That run. Right. They went on that run.
Catch me in the afternoon, baby. Catch me in the afternoon.
Yeah, they went on that run. And they lost the second. No, they won the second game and came right back for it. And they had a practice. They practiced up there for 2 hours. But a very, good time, man. Good time. And I can't wait for the next year, man. Like I said, it's gonna be a different name. It's gonna be a different name. It's gonna be a different name, a different concept, and I cannot wait. But we're gonna land this plane real quick. And Coach, I always like to have a segment called clear the air. I just want to kind of clear the air on some things. And this weekend, this was the first time that that nobody really complained about the schedule.
Yeah.
So I think our events are improving tremendously. When we first started, I take it is what it is, man. Games sometimes can run behind or things can flop or whatever. But I think our team, the staff, is doing a much better job of keeping things under control. I brought new people in to do new things, and family members or whatever case may be, they do a good job to hold it down. But I want to clear the air. A lot of things, if parents, if you're watching, and coaches, if you're watching, one of the deals that I did hear was, oh, that's too much 15 this, 25 a weekend pass, all that. And Coach, you know me and you've been doing this a while, man. All I could do sometimes is just kind of like just shake my head a little bit because some people don't know how much time goes into this thing and how much effort I really try to put in to make sure people are trying to get a real good experience. And so for me, obviously the goal is, you saw the banner, you saw the camera. I want to get as many interviews as possible. I want to talk about more kids throughout the week. That's my whole vision. But for me to do that, I want parents to understand people wants to get compensated for their time. And there were some coaches or some parents, you will complain about the $15 per day, or you'll complain about the $25 per weekend. But when you go to an event like this, you will appreciate, I'm telling you, will appreciate the prices that what we do. We're not hitting nobody over the head. Coach, read the sign. This is an actual tournament. Coach, $25 for one day for an adult and $15 for a child. And guess what, Coach? They consider an adult, as you can see, they consider an adult 11 years old.
If you're 11, you are paying $40 for a weekend pass.
For a weekend pass. You know what I'm saying? And listen, real quick, I want to make it clear. This is not to knock anybody, because one thing, we live in America, so you have an option to what you want to pay for. You have an option to what you want to set your prices for. I choose to set mine what I want to set at. So just because that tournament company there is setting their prices at $40, it don't make it right. It don't make it wrong. That's their prices. As a consumer, you have a choice if you want to pay it or you don't. But it's just funny that, Coach, for their day pass, you can come into our event for the whole entire weekend. For one day pass for that event, you can come into our event for the whole week. And it's 7-1 area. But once again, people have their choices of what they want to set their prices on, and you have an option to where you want to spend your money. But one thing about me with the events is that I truly, whether you play for my program or not, or whether you go to different other events or not, I'm going to try to push your kid out there to the next level. This is what I mean by that. Here's a kid, okay? Here's a kid that named Kendall Weaver.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's big enough or not, but if you can go to his Twitter, you can see about just like last week, Coach, this kid committed to UTA. He's a senior at Mansfield Timberview. He committed to UTA, right? Let me show you this video, what I did for Kendall last year in 2021 quick. Just a little 10-15 clip. Play for me. He's just one of my favorite prospects. And today we're talking about Kendall Weaver. Again, 2022 guard, 6'1", from Mansfield, Texas. Yeah. Mansfield Timberview. Yeah. So as I was talking, it's showing his highlights, as I'm, getting a rundown. Then towards the end, I gave my prediction on where I think this kid can play, right? So here we go. So I believe he's right in the middle. So to me, the mid-major, the bottom of the high majors, but wherever he goes to, he's gonna work. Right. He needs to bulk up a little bit. As you can see, I predicted, right? He's going to go to UTA, whatever. Don't you know that same day when I got that video, as you can see, I circle it. Royce Johnson, we call him Snoop. He's an associate head coach at UTA. If you can zoom in, you can see the date that I circled. I sent that February the 15th, 2021. 2021. If you go back and watch that interview, I sent that video 2021 to Coach Snoop Johnson, Royce Johnson. This is Coach right here. You see, associate head coach now at UTA, or whatever the case may be. And that's the thing, man. I pushed that kid. And I'm not, first of all, let me make it clear. I'm not saying he got the UTA because of me. He ain't get the UTA because of me. I just use my resources because I talked to Snoop's family, a family member of his, weekly or whatever. I know Snoop through another organization, Dallas Showtime, me and Snoop. Snoop always listens to me when refer some players to him or tell him go come look at this kid or that kid or whatever. So the thing about it is, my whole point is when you play at a Source of Sports event, if your kid is good, if your child is good enough, I'm going to work very hard for him or her. I think that's a lot. I think that's worth more than $25 a weekend pass or $250 entry fee. I'm not just collecting entry fees. I'm not just collecting bad money. Just say, hey, here's y'all games or whatever. If your kid perform like Mr. Lowe from Texas Prime, I'm about to let everybody and their mama know in the area about this kid, man. So I just wanted people to know what this thing's about. But once again, I appreciate everybody coming out this weekend. Coach Battle, I appreciate your help and support. Hey, this is the next thing that we got coming. I'm gonna tell you right now. You want to get in this thing, man. June 10th through the 12th. It's the block party. Mansfield Timberview. It's gonna go down. June 10th through the 12th. Don't meet me there, beat me there. That's all I can tell you. And I got some things at the hat this year, Coach.
I can't wait to see them, man.
Coach, let them know about the block party, man. Let them know.
Hey,
I mean, you
block
been
party
there,
is down. The menu is off the chain. I mean, there's always something new when it comes to concessions and food. We're not just talking, chips and soda.
Chips and cheese, man.
Yeah, man. There's some prime, let's say prime concessions.
Concessions. We had the DJ out. Hey, I'm gonna tell you this. I got to deal with somebody, man. The parents, I got something for you too. Between your breaks, between your games. I have something for you. It's going to benefit you. So coaches, get in right now, man. At the block party, it's $300 per team, multi-team discount. If you're watching it, just how you know this. See, this is what I do. If you watch this right here, right? If you want to get in the block party, right, you can get in. Okay, this offer is only good from April 4th all the way to April 20th. If you want to get in, you can get in for $150 per team. That's all. I'm just gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna leave it like that. When I probably get off, Stephanie probably gonna say, "Are you crazy?" But the thing about it is $150 per team. Mention what's your point sports talk show, and your team will get now. That means when you tell me 150, that means when you say y'all coming, that fee has to be in right then and there. That fee has to be in, or it has to be in by April 20th for that 150. You can't wait till April 21st. You can't wait till June 1st. Well, you said no. The coupon is April 4th through April 20th. You mentioned what's your point. You get in for 150 per team. And I'm gonna tell you right now, you don't want to miss it at all. I'm gonna have VIPs for the coach. It's gonna be off the chain. I cannot wait.
You definitely take care of the coaches with the hospitality room. I'll give you that one for sure.
Hey man, we're gonna show up and show out. Coach, I appreciate you, man. If anybody else you want to kind of give a shout out to or say before we land this plane?
Before we get off, man, I just want to give a shout out to MPE Timberwolves, Coach Watson. He had his boys ready to play. In that I think it was the 8th grade, 7th or 8th grade group there. But Coach Watson really had his boys that came out.
Oh, they won. Did they win it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Grizzlies, Power Elite. Man.
Yeah, the Grizzlies.
Power Elite.
Yeah. Oh, I said Timberwolves. I'm sorry, the Grizzlies. They had a Timberwolves like color, but yeah, it was the Grizzlies. So MPE Grizzlies came out. Coach Watson, great job with I know they had 2 groups out there, and just a really good showing from them for the game that I caught. I caught them in the semifinals, but I did see them at the end. They did win. So great job to them. Keep working, keep showing, keep going, and keep showing.
Man, thanks for everybody who tuned in today, man. We'll be, we're gonna try to figure out a schedule how to do this thing once, twice a week, whatever the case may be. We gotta just figure it out. But hey, man, until next time, DL Source of Sports, we out. Coach Battle, Coach Trey, peace.
Peace.